So first divisional opponent, a little different playing, divisional opponents not till week 6, and a lot of it is later in the year, which is a little different from the past few years. Great opportunity to kind of get back on track. With Justin being out, it's a great opportunity for us to be able to show our depth and get some other guys some opportunities. Got to be ready for whatever challenges we face on Sunday. But take any questions you got for me.
Going back to Sunday, with at the end of the game where Addison's the target there in the end zone on back-to-back plays, was that a product of the play call where you were trying to go to him in those critical moments, or was that just kind of how it played out with the pressure?
On the second to last series, basically. Cover 0. So, ball's got to get out. And that's what I was saying in the post game was, I probably would have wanted to work KJ there on a shallow cross on 3rd down and end up working Jordan instead. And then on 4th down, would have loved to, looking back, would have loved to just check to a max protection, to handle the cover 0. And, once you snap the ball, then you say, okay, they're bringing more than we had the block, but still got a chance, and just put the ball up for Jordan. And just wasn't as high percentages as I would have wanted to be. But, that 2-play sequence was one of the places in the game where you say, that's a place I got to be better.
Kirk, when Justin is not out there, how different do you expect teams will play you guys, given how much they've adjusted coverages for the fact that Justin is out there in the last few years?
Yeah, I think he's been healthy and available for, I think, every game since 2020. So, you haven't really seen what that might look like. I think defenses are still so well prepared that they'll still, then go by, okay, with whoever else is left, how do we want to defend that? And so there's still going to be a very intentional, prepared approach from them that'll be calculated. But you never really know, and we never knew how they were going to defend Justin week to week. You had your ideas, but you also knew that it's multiple. Sometimes defending Justin is they can do it in completely different ways, back-to-back plays. So that variety, I think, also helps us be prepared maybe for what we could see now.
What do you think losing him means for this team's competitiveness, over that 4-week stretch?
Yeah, I think we, this is NFL football where you lose players and you have to keep going. You have to, have depth and step up. And, it's tough to lose Justin, but it's kind of the way that this league works, and that's the way it's going to be.
How much does the offense fundamentally change with him not on the field? Because I'm sure some plays are designed, he's going to take this much coverage to open up areas. Does it change that much? How much?
Hard to put any specifics on it, but I think that we still have our system, and we still got to run our system, and that probably doesn't change. But I think it'll be a lot of other people who can contribute. It probably wouldn't be the focus on Justin as much as using all 5 eligibles.
Did you spend a lot of time working on the confidence of these guys that are available to you, and because you're Sunday, this is how you step up as a leader? Did you spend a lot of time doing that?
Well, I think they're pretty confident already. I think they have shown that. I think if I'm waiting till Wednesday of this week to do that, shame on me. And that's where I think it's, on August, whatever, on a Wednesday, early in the month of August, you're texting them saying, hey, I loved your route in practice. I know you're not getting as many opportunities with the ones, but I believe in you. That's when you build the confidence. Because I think if you do it now, it's probably a little bit false.
Josh was just talking about how it kind of feels weird to be this far into the season and playing your first divisional opponent. And I guess does that just sort of reemphasize that with 6 division games coming up, there's still a lot in front of you?
Yeah, and regardless, there's just a lot in front of us, a lot of football. So, there's so much to play for, and that's really what we know to be true, and all, why there's all the more urgency, going into this week.
Kirk, is there any scenario where you would waive your no-trade clause before the trade deadline?
I'm just very focused on the Bears and going 1-0 this week, and anything else is just not worth my time or energy or attention.
Have you ever had a time in your career where you guys didn't have the start or the record that you wanted, you ran off a bunch of wins, or it became magical later on when you worked on a job?
Started 2-4 in 2015, went to the playoffs, won the division. Started 0-2 in 2016. came down to the final game, the final drive to go to the playoffs. Didn't do it, but we're right there at the end. 2020, we started 1-5, ended up being one game away from making the playoffs. And had all kinds of close losses in November, December when, one of those would have made the difference. So you understand, there's a lot of football ahead, and that ultimately that will drive it. But, you can't keep saying that. You gotta do it. You gotta go change it and win it.
Is that something like you go back with Chad Cook about, or is that or do you just kind of put it out of mind? It's like,
no, I don't think you put it out of mind. I think you talk with Chris O'Hara about it, Chad Cook, Kevin, Wes, the other quarterbacks, and I think you talk about what you felt was going on, what was happening, but it's certainly something that you want to make sure. Okay, it happened, accept that, but not let it carry over into another week or another stretch of games, and make sure that was an isolated deal.
Without getting into specifics, was it a little bit of a mystery as to what the coaches were going to have game plan-wise as you begin this week of prep?
I wouldn't say a mystery. I think, we still have a system and an offense that we run, and if all 11 players were different, there's still a stability there of what you do and how you do it and your philosophy that's installed, back in April. And so I think there's a foundation, that you have that you lean on when there are curveballs thrown that are going to be inevitably thrown at you.
Sure. There were a few plays to Addison that were really well timed. It seemed like you guys were on the same page.
Yeah.
I guess, how did you build kind of that chemistry with him just coming in as a rookie?
Yeah, it's a similar question when Justin, was doing his thing as a rookie, and I would say, it's pretty easy to build chemistry, and guys are pretty good, So I'd love to tell you that, we did this, we did that, and certainly there was time we're communicating and working. But I mean, when you see him run routes and one-on-ones and OTAs, you're like, okay, I think he can play, and certainly in training camp as well. And Justin was the same way. It's similar to Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs when I first got here. It's like, hey, let's build chemistry, and then you throw, and you're like, I think the chemistry will be there. They're pretty good. So I think Jordan's the same way. I think it'll always be like the really deep cut looks where you start to say, hey, this is 400 level stuff. Ability will always over the long game kind of be what shows, but there'll be individual plays here or there where you'll say, hey, this is kind of a deep cut deal we got to talk about, one off here or there. So that's part of it, and we'll just keep going, and I'm excited to see what KJ and he and BP and really the whole group can do, because I think there is a lot of ability there.
Kirk, what do you see on third downs and pass rush with the Bears? Seems like they've struggled in those areas.
I think like a lot of defenses in this league, they're going to be pretty multiple. They're going to do a good job of disguise. 1 minute they're rushing 4, maybe even rushing 3 and dropping 8. The next minute they may be pressuring everybody or a host of people, trying to heat you up. So it's a variety, and I think, you're very aware of how challenging they can be, even if the production this year may not have been what they wanted so far. I think you're always pretty aware of, they can get you if you're not on the details.
How much better have you gotten at blocking out the outside noise, the rumors, over the course of your career?
Ignorance is bliss, and I'm just really ignorant. I don't really have access to a whole lot, and I try to do that by design, so it's pretty intentional. And aside from high school friends who may text me what they're reading, and I'll text them back, I prefer to remain ignorant, so I would appreciate not getting text. Aside from that, I really don't know what's going on. I've been insulated at times to the point of being naive and a little stupid, but I'd rather err on that side than consuming everything and just, having to, again, it takes your focus away from what is important and what will help you play well, and so that's kind of how I wanted to do it.
Was there like an inflection point early in your career where you decided, I'm going to do this, or is that something that you just
that's a good question. I remember 2014, maybe 2015, hearing that Andrew Luck had a flip phone. And that was by design. That was strategic, to have a flip phone. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. Like, football isn't just my job. Like, this is my livelihood. This matters to me. And I'd rather it's unrelated, but Jesus talks about, better to cut out your eye, than to have your whole body, go wrong. And I think the same thing sometimes. Like, I'd rather cut off my hand, or I'd rather take stuff off my phone or not even have access to see it than to, like, see it and then deal with it affecting more important things. So for me, it's, I'd rather, just kind of make that conscious decision years ago to just, occasionally would you love to be able to see stuff and know, the news? Yeah, I'd like to, but I'd rather not know the news and be ignorant and then be a better quarterback.
So you kind of don't know that pretty much the entire public has talked about you and possible trade?
I don't know about. I don't know about. I mean, when people are saying, it's not good. But like when people say, "You hear what happened to Israel?" I'm like, no, I don't. I need the update. So I'm just not on my phone. So this is kind of my newspaper, walking around the locker room and talking to guys and hearing what's going on. And so, and this was several days ago. I heard about Israel. It wasn't this morning. But yeah, usually I have to find out from word of mouth, like it's the 1800s. So.
You advise your teammates to be like that too?
I don't. I think every guy's got to make their decisions, and quarterback's different. And and I'm an old soul to begin with, so it's probably a little easier for me to have a flip phone or whatever. Not that I have a flip phone, but when I read Andrew Luck doing that, it registered with me probably more than it would with most people. So, but like I said, I'd rather cut off my arm, if you will, going back to Jesus' phrase, than to let your whole body go. So what's most important is what I'm always going to prioritize and allow there to be some sacrifices around that.
Do you have a flip phone?
No, I don't. I actually tried. I tried to go to one. It was like 2018, 19, and I went into the store and asked for one. The guy looked at me like I had a growth on my forehead, and I said, no, I would like to switch out my smartphone for a flip phone. And we went through the whole deal, and I had it for a few days, and I looked at my wife, and I said, yeah, this doesn't work. So went back to the smartphone, but with a lot less apps. All righty. Thanks, guys. Yeah.